Welcome to Progress Pulse Gaming. This is our second video in the Mech Arena series. And in this video, we're just going to be looking at how to use the custom match in conjunction with the Gear Hub to test the optimality of your gear deployments. A custom match allows you to host a match. You can include friends in your match. You can include bots. You can have the match alone. Um, but then the match doesn't contribute in terms of experience points and rewards. But then it does provide a data set. It does provide a report, a statistical report about the performance of the gear. You a report that you can interpret. You can a report that you can use to determine to make some inferences about your gear deployment. Okay, in terms of the actual developments, um, to recap, we were in tier 2, okay, and we had a collection of weapons in the form of the auto cannon, plasma cannon, the pulse cannon, and we did the appropriate upgrades. And this was the route, the assault route that we're looking at. I wasn't explicitly looking at this route, the missile route, but as a missile user, I quickly changed my mind. There was an option to upgrade the RPG. I did upgrade the RPG, and we eventually moved on to and I'm now on the missile wreck, and essentially we are going to be looking at missile wreck 8 and the voltaic RPG, which basically basically the RPG is the foundation for the voltaic RPG, which is an excellent weapon. You also have the storm rack, another excellent weapon, especially the storm rack 8. Then you have the thermal lance, which has no candidates in tier 3, but has very strong candidates in the form of this stasis beam, the particle beam, in tier 4, and then particle beam and the barrel beam, which is an exciting new weapon, part of the crate rush. Then close quarters, it's a shotgun, and when you get to tier 3, it becomes the fragment gun, the arc torrent, and the ember 6. We are using the arc torrent. In fact, this is our deployment, our 5th deployment in the 5th Mech. It's Ares with the arc torrent 6 as a close quarter specialist, with the shield. Then sniper. I'm a sniper, so long arm is the cornerstone. Gauss rifle, and then basically a tie through looking at the quantum gun 6 and the Gauss rifle 6. We're going to basically move to quantum gun 8, long arm 12, and the Gauss rifle. The Quasha is also very interesting. Then guided, we have the Javelin Rack, which is a cornerstone. Javelin Rack 4 is really the cornerstone. But you move on to Javelin Rack 6, Javelin Rack 8, the Cryo Javelin has got a referral system with, and also the Cryo Javelin 8, very nice weapons. Then you have the Helix Rack, which is basically the type of weapon, choice weapon basically for guided. Then you have the Strike Rocket 6, wonderful weapon. 7.6, wonderful weapon. Gemini 6, artillery, rocket mortar, and the fuse mortar. Very nice. Barrage, we've introduced the Cryo Launcher 6. And that will move on to the other types of launchers, the pod gun, and even the Cryo Launcher 8. And yeah, then we also note that in the higher tiers, there are other guns, the powerful guns like the minigun and so on. And then essentially, the one other thing I think we immediately notice is that instead of focusing on one particular path, like assault, and not developing the rest, we look at one. There's at least, we look at each of the parts, especially here at the beginning when you don't have a lot of weapons. So choosing a set of weapons as core and then developing them and making sure that one has an inventory to be able to deploy in an environment that needs each. You know, that an environment, for an example, that is suited for snipers, an environment that is suited for guided, an environment that is suited for artillery, barrage, close quarters, and so on. So we pick one and we try and move across with breadth. But of course, that's going to get a lot more difficult when there are more weapons. Okay, so that's how we moved essentially from tier two. But the main one important contributor to unlocking the tires was that when but I only noticed this after I unlocked Tier 3. So I was able to do upgrades on the mercs of Tier 2 and the weapons, and then open Tier 3. Then, I had to find a way to open Tier 4. But after, upgrading the weapons and so on, I noted that there were no mercs in Tier 3. So I immediately obtained the 8, and I was able to unlock Tier 4. And then we note that now that I'm starting to unlock Tier 5, I have no mercs in Tier 4, and would have to choose one of the Stalker, Tengu, or the Arachnos. They are roughly the same price, and one would need to choose one on the basis of their abilities. Okay, and then one other, um, just one quick comment is that in your inventory you've got mercs, you've got weapons, you've got pilots, you've got implants, and then in more, how shall I put it, more advanced versions of the game, you also have modifiers, which are included into your gear offering. But essentially, the approach of actually noting your gear and deploying that gear and getting a statistical report on how that gear performed. I mean, we do note that your gameplay does contribute towards that, but of course, if you repeat it enough times, you can address that. Okay, so yeah. Um, in terms of our mercs, I'll just quickly go through them. We have Vortex, a new merc, um, capacity 12. It's got a cryo launcher 6. I've done it's level 2. Okay. And then the pilot is red. She's got a cryo implant uh, for range. And then she's got a nanopod field radius. And then both of them, I've just done one upgrade. So the basic approach is to keep a very large distance with the cryo launcher, and that's how we use the range. So that will be the strategy we'll be using. Then you've got the lancer with the pulse cannon 6 and the plasma cannon, in line with our progression in the gear hub. Okay, so we mix weapons in order to be able to satisfy the capacity requirements. Here we have a situation where we actually have more capacity, but then we don't have access to weapons, that are more powerful to take up that capacity. There's no pilot. Then we have slingshot. We mix again. We've got the pulse cannon and the plasma cannon. We mix to meet the capacity. Um, then we've gone for with slingshot and the lancer. We've gone for mobility, and then we have the tank, and then we have the sniper in the form of the Gauss rifle and the quantum gun. Okay, then we have the fifth max slot, okay, which I haven't opened, but as I highlighted that in order to open tire, the latest tire, which is basically tire 4, I had to obtain Ares. So we do have a Merc, and then with Ares, we do have a pilot in the form of Jester. We do have a pilot in the form of Jester who specializes in close range combat. We will be basically putting an Arcturine 6 or an Ares and utilizing the shield as a close combat specialist, should it be required. So the cryo launcher and yeah, no missiles, not too many missiles at this stage. Okay. Um, okay, I think that's the bulk of it. And then I think just in passing, in the next video, we're going to be looking at um, the onslaught training program, where you get an opportunity to use other mechs um, armed with weapons. I mean, some of them, well, in this case, I don't have access to any of them. Strike Rocket 8, wonderful weapon. Particle Beam 8, wonderful. Then you've got the Viper 12, absolutely awesome. The Overdriver 12, just wonderful, man. And then the River 12. So it's nice to basically see, what's possible with the mechs, um, especially when mechs have, when speaking about weapons, you don't whose tire you haven't opened. So incorporating that information uh, the information on the choice of weapons, and then incorporating that information in the progression, in the actual progression through the tires. You know, uh, you know particular weapons, and when you get to situations where you have large choices, you know which kind of weapons um, you would be interested in trying out first. So let me go ahead then and go to the custom match, which is open. We create the custom match. Um, we can invite a friend, and we can invite a friend. We can create a bot environment, which we do, and then we choose the mode control point, and then we note that there are no XP, no rewards, no event or achievement progress when you play a custom match. But you do still get the statistical report on performance, which is basically feedback on your deployed gear, and then that will basically inform how you configure your mechs. Okay, so we'll just play just to illustrate what happens in a custom match with bots, and then we'll analyze the statistical reports afterwards in the context of the
Three,
upgrades
2, 1,
and the implants.
go. Get out of my way.
Okay, so this is the worst way to go. It's much better to go towards A, because you have this.
We're losing the lead.
So the cryo launcher is not very useful. Well, it's very difficult to get it to work under these conditions. Okay. Okay, see this. So what I have to do is either help my teammate or run away, because I can't afford to get attacked from. But that seems to be working. Okay, this is what you don't want. The last thing you want. Yeah, but that wasn't not good.
Beacon captured.
So the best thing to do is to get out of this situation as quickly as possible, if they will allow me to. Okay, here we go. Right. Let's
Double kill. Beacon smooth operator. Well done.
That thing is very difficult to do. But if you can hit him once, at least it'll slow it down. Yeah, you see, once it's slow, then it's easy to get. Okay, there's one hiding here. Oh. Okay.
Incoming fire.
At least it's slow moving, so yeah. That's not good. So to be able to hit him.
You have 2 minutes remaining. Dominating. Well done. Smackdown.
Nice.
Well done.
Okay. We don't chase. Oh. We have to try and get this guy. Hmm. Oh. We're not doing too great. I think maybe if I take the center, it might help.
You have won the match.
Okay, got into a bit of trouble there, but okay. So those are the reports. We generally try and get more than 20%, because 1 in 5 is 20%. So 40% of the kills, 40% of the damage. Damage very important. Action time. We can try and decrease the action time by doing an implant upgrade for the damage. Perhaps remove the other implant, the vortex nano field, and and basically increase the damage. Yeah, and so that's basically the process, and the feedback, and the kind of analyses, and how you combine those two functionalities, um, to give something that is meaningful, that you can use to you know to as you are progressing, basically. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Please don't forget to subscribe and like the video, if it's useful to you. And then also, please do join us for the next video, where we'll be looking at the Onslaught series. And have a great one.